Yeah, Coach Ferentz, your contact and impressions of Bob Stoops. First as a player at Iowa, then of course he served as a graduate assistant and something called a volunteer coach there with the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, you know, Bob was a skinny free safety when I got there in '81. And it was interesting because I came from the University of Pittsburgh. It was my first exposure to major college football. We had a really excellent team in 1980. I think we had 11 seniors drafted. 3 of them were first-round players. Russ Grimm was one of the guys in a local name here for everybody that wasn't a first-rounder and obviously should have been Hall of Fame player. So we had a great football team, a very talented football team, and I went to Iowa, and it looked a little different than what we had in Pittsburgh. And that was only my second year in major college football. But what I learned, we had Andre Tippett, who was probably the most notable player on that team. Ron Hallstrom, those 2 guys went on and had great careers in the NFL. But there weren't many of them beyond that. And the thing I noticed was the team was tired of losing. They had a great attitude. And Bob was a big part of that. He was a junior that year, but truly one of the leaders on the defense. And you could kind of tell he's a coach's kid. He was a really smart, heady player, a very tough, tenacious player. And that was kind of symbolic of the way that defense played that year. They weren't the fastest group, but boy, they were tough to move the ball against. And that group really led us to the Rose Bowl that year in the first winning season in 19 years there. So that was my introduction to Bob, and then obviously we got to know each other through the years, especially when he transitioned from being a player to a coach. And I've had nothing but utmost respect for his family. Comes from a great mom and dad family back in Youngstown. They're a great coaching family. Obviously, history's proven that way to be. But for my money, Bob does as good a job as anybody in college football. And I say that with all due respect to a lot of great coaches at this level. But I don't think there are many better than Bob, and one of the best people around too.
Same spot, Coach. You're right.
Coach, Nathan Thompson, Fox 23, over here.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
With Coker not playing this game, does that affect your game plan for how you tackle you offensively, and through practice, how have the backups stepped up, you think?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at our statistics, Marcus had 281 carries this year. Next guy is 18. So psychologically, we got an advantage. Oklahoma's trying to figure out, who our guys are, and then where are they? Where they get their 18 carries or 12 carries, whatever it may be. But, it's no different than when a player gets injured. If you can't go, and somebody else has to jump in there. And the other part of that equation is everybody else has to carry a little bit more responsibility. So that's been our attitude. And go back to our first bowl, Liddell Betts, who had a nice NFL career, wasn't able to go against Texas Tech. And Aaron Grabbing jumped in, got 115 yards, 120 yards, whatever it may have been, was the MVP. And that's football. You just got to play on. And, we'll try to be smart about how we approach things and handle things, but we don't plan on surrendering. We're going to show up and play the game.
More questions for Coach Ferentz. Right here in the front, to the right.